Welcome to the Board Game Report. My name is Andy Josephson and I'm going to be your host. I'm also known as Plisbjörn on Board Game Geek. In this show I'm going to be introducing, explaining and commenting, possibly reviewing games that I find interesting in some way. Could be aesthetically, most likely on a mechanical perspective, or some other way I find them unique or interesting. Might not be the best games, might not be games that are readily available, but I think they deserve their place in the sun, their 15 minutes of fame for some reason. I've been in this hobby for about 25 years now. So I've amassed some experience, become a little jaded, and maybe developed somewhat of an eccentric taste. Well, you have to be the judge of that. In this episode 0 of the Board Game Report, I'm not going to follow the standard format. Instead, I'm going to do an unboxing of the game Detective City of Angels by Ryder Games. I received this Kickstarter edition yesterday, and I thought, well, why not? Let's make an unboxing video. And I also decided to do a reboxing video. What is a reboxing video? Well, a lot of games, when you bought them and punched them and sorted the pieces, put them into bags, and you want to put everything back into the box, you realize that it doesn't fit. Especially with Kickstarter and all the stretch goals and some other component-heavy games. And the lid hovers teasingly an inch or a couple of centimeters above the place where it should rest snugly. So hence the reboxing aspect. Just a comment, detective games. It's interesting how a theme suddenly surfaces that a lot of designers become interested in, and which leads to several games published at the same time in parallel. A while ago it was Mars, but today that's yesterday's flavor. Now it's detective games. We had Detective, we had a republishing of Sherlock Holmes consulting detective, and we have a Watson versus Holmes game. We even had a Cthulhu offshoot, of course. We have Chronicles of Crime, and we have Spy Club. That is a very child-oriented game in the detective vein. And we have Detective City of Angels. How come I got interested in or fell for this game? Well, partly due to the amazing art. It's chock full of cards with evoking art pieces that depicts Los Angeles during the noir, the 30s era. So you have your detectives, your femme fatales, your gangsters, hoodlums, and all of that stuff. So from a theme perspective, this is an amazing game. I haven't played it yet, so we'll see if it lives up to its promise. But let's head into the unboxing. Let's dig into it. I'm going to move this away for now and take a look at this bad boy here. It's a huge box, as you can see. Let's turn it over this way so you can see. Including this detective game, there are a lot of components, mainly cards. So it's a card-driven game with 9 different cases. So let's open it up. Normally I'm tearing the plastic off as the impatient guy I am, but to look more professional, I decided to use a knife. It's a thin, good plastic. This is a game by Ryder Games, just so you know, and it came very nicely packed with a lot of protective plastic and stuff. So this is a big box. What could we compare it to? The old El Grande or something like that boxes. So it's not a Fantasy Flight coffin box. So when we open it up, we have all the different standees here for a lot of different characters. Double-sided, very nice. Actually become to appreciate standees more and more. Miniatures are nice and all, but if you're not a habitual painter, which I'm not, then standees often provide, I would say, more immersion than unpainted plastics. Here we have some other tokens, money and some, what do you say, generic tokens that you can use to mark things on the board. Here's the board. It's a huge one. Let's see if it fits into my screen, but let's open that later. Here is a big block of case register papers. So, and they're double-sided, so you can use them several times. So there's a lot of good stuff here. So you can write down clues, and here you can make your final guess and so on. So let's see if you manage to solve the case. Then we have the detective casebook, which are case briefings and player aids. So here are the different cases. As you can see, there are 9 cases involved. So it's a description here with a case and how to, the specifics about how to solve the case. There's a little bit of, what do you call it? Yeah, text that describe the case and gives a little bit of immersion. And this game is very much about style and feel and so on. And here we have pretty much the same book again. So you have 2 of these, which I think could be nice because this is a game where you can play 1 to 5 players. So actually, I have 4 of these. Maybe a little bit over ambitious, but I'm just thinking if there is a difference here. No, it doesn't seem to be a difference. And you see it's a good summary at the back. Then we have the casebook and the solutions, and we don't want to look at that too much, so I'm gonna just show it quickly here. And here is also a summary how to question characters, because that's an interesting part in this game. Then we have a tutorial book, and that's always nice when they go through the first case and just show you the setup and the first turn. And one of these quick ones, or even the up to 4 turns, that's nice. Yeah, so it's always good with one of these. I hope though that the rules are not spread out over several books. I've seen a lot of cases where the tutorial book contains several important rules and that they are not repeated in the main rule book. I haven't gotten that far yet, as you understand. Here's the detective rulebook, and it's also, I mean, I haven't read it yet, as you might understand, but it seems nice. There are some shout outs here or exclamation marks, as it seems to mark specific rules that are easy to remember, easy to forget, I guess. And some examples. Yeah. And then there are some alternative modes. I'll have to check those out. And then we have the big case book. This is a biggie. And these are, of course, the different paragraphs with answers that you can get when you interview different suspects. I have big hopes for this game. The worry is that it's going to turn into another Tales of the Arabian Nights, but yeah, I don't think so. This looks more interesting.
So here are question grids for the different cases and what paragraphs to look up when you do interviews. Here are some tiles with the different detective actions, double-sided. So this is when you play an alternative game mode. You can actually play competitive or you can play collaborative, I think. And here's also where you place cards due to different effects. Yeah, and here was another one. So we have 4 of these play areas here. Then we have tokens. Um, yeah, as I haven't read the rules, I don't know, but they seem to be, they're nice. Wooden tokens, not that thick, but I think they're probably appropriate with a nice little silk screen print here. Um, regular cubes, I'm not going to open them up, in 4 different play colors. An extra bag. Here are miniatures, um, and there are also some for the standees here for the different people you want to interview, but here are the different miniatures, and they are, I think they're a regular quality nowadays. The miniatures are pretty good, and so it's more about, you know, poses and stuff, if that is interesting. So we have 4 different detectives here. I'm gonna align them, and there are actually 2 women and 2 men. And the women, though the period is the noir with the femme fatales, the women aren't too scantily clad. So that's nice. Uh, Actually, I was playing the noir edition with my youngest daughter, of the noir edition of Chronicles of Crime. I'm sorry, and she went through all the decks with all the characters and was like, Dad, there's too few women here, and why are they dressed like that? And I was like, yeah, well, it was a different time. Yeah, the standees once again, and here are the color-coded what do you call them? Pieces where you can put the miniatures, so you know what play they belong to. And here are also some hats in the different play colors, plastic hats. Also have no clue what they're used for, but they look rather cool. The traditional detective fedora, is that correct? I'm Swedish, so I don't know. And some plastic bags for, I guess, for the different cardboard components. And here, what we have here are the different cases. And the cases are in these tuck boxes, so you're not supposed to open them until you have you want to play the case, um, like this. So it says there are 12 case cards and 9 mystery cards and 12 response cards and 32 search cards. And it actually says on top, do not, do not open until you are ready to play this case. So you have the Black King, and this is actually a little bit mangled here, but it seems like there's a lot of stuff in it. The Final Strikeout, there's a lot of beautiful illustrations in this game. Murder on All Millions, Hallows Eve, The Last Embrace, Bloody Christmas, The Heist of Nowhere, Murder at Sunset, and Blood on the Pier. And this is like the introductory scenario, so it has the least content. But you see they have different thickness, these boxes, so there are different amounts of content and so forth. And the playing time for the game is 30 to 150 minutes. So I guess that these are of different length, pretty much like Mansions of Madness or something. And you can see that they're also divided into difficulty levels. You have 3 Gumshoe, the green ones, you have 3 Veterans, and then you have 3 Hardboiled. And you can see this, there is room for a few more cases here, and those are the cases that will comes with the expansion, so they have that in mind. And here is, sorry, here's a little card holder that looks pretty much similar to what you find in Gloomhaven. So you can probably put down things here and it's hidden in some way. And then we have some cards here that are general cards for the game. They're not part specifically of a case, but ooh, I don't want to scratch these, and I don't want to scratch the... My knife doesn't have a sharp enough end. Okay, let's see what we have here. It's the same thin, nice plastic. And what do we have here? We have removed evidence. So probably some characters in the game can be found removing evidence. Then we have some favors that you can call in from different characters. The Katarina Gray, the fortune teller, Wicked Sue, the collector, and a private eye, a cabbie, and so forth. The cards are nice. They're not that thick, but it's a good quality cardboard, or yeah, card quality. And they're also have line and finish, so they're very nice. I guess you can sleeve them, but if you're careful, they will hold up, I think, good. And here are also some grift cards with some events, so maybe they will change up the gameplay or something. I haven't really looked into that. So let's take a look at the final component of the game, and one of the most important ones, might argue, and that is the game board. And I'm unfolding it here in probably the most complex way possible. But as you can see, it's a large but not unusually large game board, and it's the traditional six-fold. It's a nice thematic illustration of LA back in the day, with all these different locations, 100 different locations to go to, and places for, I suspect, different individuals that you want to interview. Yeah. So these are the components for the main game of Detective. Let's also take a look at the expansion that came with the game. And that's Bullets Over Hollywood. I guess Bullets Over Broadway was already taken by Woody Allen. So this is an expansion with 3 new cases, and that also introduces some changes or some new mechanics. Exactly what, I guess, will be a surprise when you actually play the game. There we go. It's the same kind of box, so it's not one of those you know, Kickstarter boxes that are just throw away. I guess this is going to be a expansion that you can buy retail. Oh, it's 4 new cases, not 3 new cases. Yeah, and you have the same thing here. You have these question grids for the cases. You have the standees, nice ones. You have case books with case briefings for all 4 players. There is the casebook and solutions. There is the actual paragraph book, and there are the 4 cases. And these cases are 1 veteran case and 3 hardboiled cases. So this expansion is definitely for when you have gotten some experience of the game. Yeah. So that is Detective. I'm not going to do Tom Basil style components throw, but I definitely going to start organizing this stuff now. I'm thrilled to test this out, and hopefully I'm going to do it sometime next week. We'll see if I get back with a review then. I have now punched and bagged everything with only the bags provided in the box. And now to the big test. Will everything fit back into the box, or will it become one of those half closable box that looks very frustrating in your game shelf? Let's see. Here are the cases that were provided in the expansion. Let's see if they fit into the box. Here are the standard cases, and yes, they fit. It's a tight fit, but they do fit very well. I put the standees and, sorry, the bases for the standees and the miniatures in one bag, and here are all the single dollars, and here are the fivers, and here are some the general components that will be used independently of everything else. And here are all the player-specific components that I put in separate bags. It's getting full here. And here are the cards and the card holder. But it looks like it fits, all fits. How come I haven't punched the standees? Well, there is actually a text here that I missed earlier saying, don't punch these. Wait until you are asked for the specific character or instructed in the case that to bring out a specific character. And I think that's a smart thing because then it's easy to find. You don't have to, go through a big pile of characters or something. So clever thought. Okay, so here we now have all the question matrices, and we have the player boards, and we have this question board. Let's see if it fits. It's a little bit, um, bulky. I'm gonna put this on top here. But it's good enough. It's good enough. Then we have all the case books and question paragraph books and rules and stuff. Let's see. Good enough. Good space. And ooh, it fits. Now let's put these punch boards on top. No, they don't. They don't have a specific fit. They will have to lie on top here. And you can see there's one bag over, and it's not an extra bag. It's great. Once you have pushed out the standees and you've used them in case, you can put them in the bag. But we have great space for the board, and these fit very well on top here. And oh, box fart. Look. Fits perfectly. Everything fit in the box. Very well done, Van Ryder. And this is a heavy boy now. And as you can see by the bagging and everything, I put it upside down, of course. By the bags and everything, you can safely put this any way you want in your gaming shelf, and nothing will fall out.
Well, that was the unboxing and reboxing. I hope you share my sentiment that this is a beautiful game with a lot of things that make you very keen on playing this. As you could see, there are 3 different player modes. You have the chisel versus the detectives, where the chisel want to delay the detective and waylay the detectives so they won't be able to solve the case. And then you have the gumshoe variant where everybody plays together. And finally, you have the head-to-head variant where one chisel and one detective face off in a game of wits. Regarding the reboxing, everything fits snugly back together. The box is fully closed and will rest nicely in the board gaming shelf. So very well done by Ryder Games. I hope you enjoyed this little video. I'm going to be returning soon with the first real episode of the Board Game Report. And the plan is to release one of these episodes every week on Sundays, preferably. And I hope you enjoyed this and that you're looking forward to the next episode. Please don't hesitate to comment, come with suggestions for improvements or whatever. And if you feel so inclined, you can always give me a thumbs up. Thank you.